man. I never forget to unmute myself. Welcome to an afternoon stream. That's what I was saying, guys. Jeez. Such a noob, I swear.
Nobody wants to play with me? There you go. Build the squads. Man, that was crazy. Hello, does anybody have a mic? One check, 1 2. Mic check, 1 2. Hello, anybody with a mic? Oh, I'm still TTV, by the way. Healing up, boys. Take him out. Now watch this. You got this? Yay! Oh, God. Oh. Oh, no, more. You got him, Brian. You got this? Oh! Oh, wow. Sweet. I gotta keep playing. Anybody have some healing? Boys? Oh. Oh, thank you. wow. Wiggity wiggity. You gotta win it so you can give back the $50. My goodness. Have you played with Brian and... Oh, he's a streamer or what? That's a cool website. Thanks, bro. No, never played with him. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I did pay for it. It happens. It's free if you don't want to pay for it. It's cool though. It is. It's very professional. Extremely. Oh. Oh. There it is.
It's just a website for yeah, professional. It's just a website for giveaways. It just makes life easy for you.
There's an app for everything. Oh, I hope I wasn't pressing the move button. After this one. My goodness, I can't stop coughing. Feels bad, man. All freaked out.
Thank you for the subscription, Zeus Hots. Really appreciate it.
There's a massive delay on my stream? Feels bad, man. There's that chest. I can hear it and smell it.
Why? What's wrong with the voice changer? I like to hear myself talk because I think I sound dumb. It happens. What up, Facebook? Welcome everybody from Facebook. You comment, you like, and all that good stuff. I can see it on my end. You're quiet, it's weird. Oh. Is it like a creepy weird? That's what I'm going for.
Ooh, yeah. Everybody wanna be like me. Ooh, yeah. Everybody wanna be like me.
Oh yeah. Thank you for the host. James Bot. Trying to remember the name. Everybody wanna be like, oh god. Number one fans. Number one. Oh man, where those guys took off on me. Hater, bro. Cannot stop cop. Feels bad, man. Where's Zaktura? He's not on? Oh, Mark's here. He might want to play with us. Everybody won't be like me. Oh, what a bad thing to do. Hi and all, everybody from Facebook. Thanks for checking out the stream. Really appreciate it. I'm looking for a shotgun. Be nice. Everybody have a spare shotgun? Man. That didn't work. Oh yeah, but he can beat me, right? Yes. Light them up, boys. Don't have a shotgun. Feels bad, man. Ah, I'm dying. Ow! Feels bad, man. Give me a shotgun. Give me a shotgun. What up?
Here we go. Hello?
What up? Ready to play?
Yeah.
Let's put on a show, my friend. Who'd you host me with?
What do you mean?
Or who'd you host yourself with? Like, who joined the party?
What?
Was it Zaktura?
What are you talking about?
When you hosted me, it said, oh, you hosted by yourself.
Huh?
Don't worry about it, okay?
Are we gonna play duos or squads? Classics for what?
No, not classic. No
So just
classic.
duos?
Yeah. No. Well, I'm inviting Phantom Void. Did he not get it?
He's playing with somebody else.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Says he's
Ready up!
in a lobby.
Of
Okay.
3.
Everybody want to be like me. Be like me. You like that one?
Yeah. Would you be quiet if I kept on saying yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I think Mark has this one.
Stop
The
here.
chicken.
Has which one?
The chicken.
I'm not watching anymore, so don't say this one.
You're
What?
gonna spam SpongeBob trap. You're gonna spam SpongeBob trap.
Everybody want to be like me.
Stop. Okay.
Why do you want to say that, but you never meet them?
Oh man, I joined Yesterday, that's why I took TTV out of my name. I joined the most toxic player yesterday, dude. Ridiculous.
Oh, are you talking about me?
No. He was
Oh my
dropping the N-bomb, the F-bomb, the S-bomb, everything. And it was like sentence after sentence. I was like, golly.
Well,
This kid's got
What did you
problems.
do to him?
What did I do? I sent him a friend request.
No jump fatigue. Okay, if you don't turn off jump fatigue, right?
Yeah.
What did
Hello?
I just walk in?
Where we landing, boys?
hello?
Hey, start with topic.
That a boy, I like that.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, sweaty.
Hello?
We can hear
Hello?
you.
Where are you guys going?
Pleasant.
Why? You're trying to leave a teammate like that?
Where are you going?
I was gonna stop I marked it.
Oh, well, go. No one stopped you.
Well, there are people there. It's my first game on. What are you
Chill.
laughing at, sweet potato?
Children, right, sweaty? Can
No,
I
that's-
get
that's
can I get an
sweet.
amen? Word of the day.
Amen is the word of the day.
Amen is the word of the day. There it is.
Amen, you go there.
Man,
Amen. Word of the day.
Amen is amen.
Amen. Word of the day.
Amen.
Stop, guys. You're only gonna let me play.
Quiet.
You quit saying amen. Word of the day.
Amen.
Ah.
Amen.
Oh my goodness.
Amen. Guess what? Guess what? Guess what?
Hmm.
Guess what happened today?
What?
I said amen.
Okay, I'm actually middle. It's not funny.
Wait, is he playing with like your brother or something?
No.
Alright, fine, leave.
It's weird people.
Oh, weird people.
damn it.
Didn't even leave it. Did you even leave? Who was just blowing their mic?
Blowing their mind, not me. Can I get an amen in chat? Amen.
Amen.
Attaboy, Tristan. Amen.
That was me, not him.
Word of the day.
Right. He said he wants to play cells. He wants to play cells.
Who?
Are you guys friends?
No, no, no.
We're best friends.
In real life?
Ah. I mean, I don't want to go to jail. Amen.
Man,
How old is your sister?
Amen. There you go.
How old your sister, John?
How old's my sister? Why?
I'm just wondering.
yeah, why, really?
You want to?
Why?
Yeah. Why all of a sudden you want to know about my sister?
What?
That's weird. You're weird, man. Can I get an amen in chat? Amen.
It's amen. So you're not gonna tell me? Okay.
She's. Hold on, give me a second. She's 22.
Unless you hit him.
I'm going to jail.
Amen, Tristan. Amen.
Why is he keep on saying amen? I know there's a man. but he's not.
DBL. Whoa.
Or that guy that you played with last game, that BL guy.
Uh-huh.
His name looks really familiar.
Brian?
Yeah.
I don't know. They weren't talking to me, so I don't know. May have been familiar.
Be quiet.
Oh my god.
Right, Brian? I mean,
Amen.
sweetie potato.
Yeah.
Word of the day.
Sweetie potato.
Everyone's saying amen. That's funny.
How many people won?
No, I got 9 people watching on Facebook.
You're going off.
I got 10
Oh, you
people.
streaming?
You play squads, Phil? You missed one. What's the word of the day? Amen. Word of the day.
Somebody actually asked me now.
Yeah, every once in a while I will. Usually I have 4
Google
people
what?
playing with me.
OMG. Nothing.
10 now? 10 now what? Oh, watching me. Yeah. Going off, man. It's my highest ever watching me.
Really? Really?
Like, constantly. Oh, just dipped down to 9. Just lost my record. It happens.
Wait, what are they watching you on Twitch or what?
No, on Facebook. Shiggity Wiggity's here, but he's on Twitch.
Who?
Shiggity Wiggity, but he's on Twitch.
For me, nobody was watching on Twitch, except for me.
Oh really? Well, he
I was
did
watching
the
YouTube and Twitch.
he did the giveaway.
I'll watch you guys.
Shiggity Wiggity.
Thank you.
No, watch me.
Watch me.
No, watch me.
Die and spectate me. What? I'm not live streaming.
Oh,
I can't.
I'm going the wrong way.
No. Go to James Bob _123 stream.
But if you follow the
and then I'm hosting him.
goodbye, man.
So watch me.
Later,
watch
dude.
me.
Thanks for checking out the stream. Drop
Where
a
you, John?
follow. I'd
People
really
on me, people on
appreciate
me.
it.
Johnny Poo,
Where? Oh, on you.
over here.
In that way. There's nobody even here. It's just you.
And nobody even gave me any shield, bro.
Pretty much.
Can I please take that half pot right there? Yeah, that's it.
Oh, here's shield. Sorry, being a bad teammate.
Yeah, I know. It's a joke. It's a joke. Don't you?
I have mini.
Oh, he has a mini. But he just needs one more.
Hey, John, come here. John, come here.
In your way. Don't do it.
I was trying to get you. Can
Playing
you get
with
on?
viewers. Just playing in general.
Can you go to ramp? Right here. Hurry, a ramp.
Go. I mean, I can play with viewers if you want. That'd be kind of
Sweetie
neat.
potato.
Sweetie.
What?
Oh yeah, it is sweetie. It's not sweaty.
Whoa!
Whoa. ¿Qué pasó, amigo?
What happened?
¿Por qué dices eso?
Tell me all about it.
Hey, man.
You died from 50 meters. What happened?
You
fell.
fucking launched me in the air. What do you mean what happened?
Oh
Fucking
my
hit me with an
goodness.
ATV.
He's toxic, dude. He's the worst teammate to have. Oh god.
John, build.
They line us up. Holding it. Okay. Y'all edit out the back, but y'all leave me in here. Thank God. Oh god.
You play there.
Go. Everybody get thirsty. Oh, he's
Thursday
already.
night. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, playing like a bot. Oh my goodness. You guys are
Oh,
distracting
you're
me.
being yourself, you saying?
Yeah, for once, I'm being myself.
Still like high school.
Stick it.
One has no shield, black soccer skin, no shield.
Oh, watch out. Then I gotta let you revive. It's cool.
It's up.
I know he's up. Oh, okay, bro. Just wait. Don't.
Give
don't
them
die on me.
pressure. Okay, I'm gonna stop paying attention to
Don't die on me.
Facebook. I'm gonna start playing right.
Don't die on me.
Thank you.
John, don't die on me. Johnny, yes, Papa. Nothing. Bro, stop getting behind me. Stop getting on my tail.
I'm trying to push, okay? Chill.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Oh my god, bro.
And there he goes. Well, I have 2 launch pads.
They're mad. What'd you do to them?
I just teammate that. I'm so scared. Do you need meds?
Hey, he's pushing up. Just let me go.
Just let him go, John. You heard him, man.
Oh, good
The
shit.
birdie slide. I'm so scared. I'm one tap.
You want that? Oh man, there's more people. Oh god, no.
Wait, there's another one? Did all
There
of them
was
not get
2 more.
knocked? Wait, what? I thought we killed the first one.
Oh, another squad rolled up.
Oh, this is a whole different
That
clip.
makes sense. GG's, boys. Thanks for playing with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, good ATV.
Okay, I'm gonna stop
He
looking at
knocked
chat.
himself. He jumped down the mountain. Like, he jumped on my quad, then he bounced.
You did not hit him because I was riding with you.
Yeah, I didn't hit him. He ran into me.
Yeah.
If I hit him.
Oh, I don't know. I'll look at the replays. Replays mañana.
Are you actually gonna look at the replay? 'Cause I didn't mean to hit him. If I
Oh,
did.
we'll know by
Is that
tomorrow.
two chest, Aiden?
We
Aiden,
will
is that two
know
chests?
by tomorrow.
No one cares, John.
Not only is he a TTTV, he's a YouTube.
TTV Big Sucks YouTube. Wait. He's a TTV and a YouTube, John. How do you
No.
feel? That's what it says. I'm editing these guys' builds.
I feel I can do better. That's what I feel.
So you can do better.
I felt like I left my community down. I just don't feel like me, and I'm sorry about that.
Okay, let's go. TTV Big Sucks. Let's go. Sus.
But now I'm back.
Big baby. What's what you eat me?
Tomorrow I may not be on because one of my brother's kids is having a baseball game. I'm gonna go see that.
Who
Go
wants to
watch
eat me
that.
out? Who wants to eat me out? John, do you?
No,
Not today.
not today.
I'm going to jail today.
Here, can I use the food bubble?
Not old enough yet.
Go.
Time to have that fun.
Only if
Ooh, John, you're dead.
Not yet. I still got a chance.
What'd you get?
I just fell all the way to the bottom with you.
Hey, John, there's some shotguns down there.
I got one.
Like
He's
a purpley
upstairs.
one.
Still
There's
there.
another shotgun up here.
Oh,
upstairs?
oh!
You're a liar.
Wow, dude. He's
Where you
right there, right in front. Go P1 Istles. He is upstairs. He's coming down. I'm hiding. He is upstairs. He's on the second floor.
He took my kill too.
Oh. That is
John,
just the
can you just leave the
worst.
game? You're gonna die anyway.
That is the worst way to go.
Hey, John's already down. He's on all fours.
you can't shoot off spawn.
John, you wanna leave this guy?
I believe in TTTVs. I believe. I
Yeah,
believe.
there you go.
Ah,
See you guys. Good teammates.
GG's.
That's a joke.
GG's. We can do. Well, no. We can do. Keep doing squads.
My clutch is too. You actually have to give me your people.
Oh, he's playing with his dad.
I have 50
Who?
people.
Zaktura.
No.
Who's he playing
It's
with?
friends. Friends.
Oh, he's got people over.
No.
Wait.
Friends from school.
Yeah, that means he has people over.
Not at our house. On the game, yeah.
But how come I can hear other people like they're in your house?
For real.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, that was loud. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to
Hello. And I thought about you tonight.
You actually have to give me your
You want to do it tonight?
No, I think he said he's gonna think about me tonight. It happens.
Happens to the best of us.
Hey, I'm a beautiful man.
Oh, you can't say that until they see you, bro.
Oh.
Maybe like, oh, good.
Yo, quick question. Like, no disrespect or anything, but like, why you guys like still play Fortnite nowadays?
Bro, why did you play? You're playing right now.
I mean, I just started playing. I haven't played it since the season started.
Stop disrespecting me.
I mean, I've been playing other games because
We
Fortnite
played
nowadays.
since season 3 and then we stopped this season, something like that.
Yeah,
Are you
it's
guys,
kind of
are you
getting
guys
slow.
twins or something? You guys sound exactly the same, and you look the same too.
Go.
Yeah, you should just stay on Fortnite then. Never mind. You should just stay on Fortnite.
Not ugly, we talking to you.
Stop talking. Taki. Eat your tacos.
Roomba.
See videos. He knows what we talk about. I'm here in the south. Don't talk to me, guys, okay? Just be that clear. You don't talk to me, I can talk to you, okay?
Shut the fuck
Wait,
up,
John.
nigger.
Oh, John.
Lovely. Maybe I should have kept TTV in my name.
You took it out again?
Yeah,
Take that name.
I told you
Take the
because
name.
some guy was like throwing the N bomb, the F bomb, the S bomb. Like he was doing it to try to trigger me. And I'm a man that doesn't get triggered that often.
Be quiet.
Man, minis
dude.
galore.
Little sis meat. Little smeat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Minis
What kind of cookie you
galore.
want?
Taki, your voice is too loud.
I can do it louder if you want.
Please don't.
Okay, then. Either like this one or I can go louder.
You can go quiet.
Oh, you know
Oh,
you
no.
got,
I can go louder.
you got louder and my stomach growled.
No one cares. Okay.
Scared me. That was a primal instinct right there.
Primal instinct.
Uh-huh.
What did you see, tacos?
My body said, hey, shit yourself, someone's trying to get you. Like, God.
You guys okay?
Yeah, you streaming?
Yeah,
What's your
Same.
Twitch? Follow you right now.
my name. Holden Thread.
You can subscribe to me too.
Alright.
It's called
I mean, I don't know. In the beginning, you're kind of disrespectful, so I'm not
He
gonna
was.
think about
He really was. I wouldn't
You were
do
yelling first.
it. Yeah.
that. Nah, holding thread sounds.
Thou
More
without
chill.
sin shall cast the first stone. Okay, Fire
John,
GGs?
put it on your voice changer and see if he likes it.
Hello? Does anybody have a
Is
mic?
this better than his other voice? I don't think it is. It's not that good.
You don't like it?
No.
Why
Bad.
not?
It's annoying. It's creepy.
He's just a toxic little white boy.
Bro, you want to talk about me? Talk about
Yeah.
your tacos. Not again.
And just like that, they're looking me up. Oh, there's the follow. Too bad it takes forever. Wait for it.
They probably didn't follow you.
No, he did. Both of
They
them
didn't
did.
follow me yet.
Both of them threw me a follow.
The Smeat guy and the other guy didn't follow me yet.
You're not even streaming, bro.
Yes, I am. I'm hosting you.
Hello, Brian Abelanosa. Oh, that was a tough one.
But you can figure it out. Hey, Smeat and John. Someone get this half out of here.
Thank you for the
Wait,
follow.
why are there tons of cranes around here? Why are there
Nick
tons of
Clark
cranes?
2000.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Filipino. Oh, that's an insult.
John, come here. John, come here.
Of course it's hard. Ah, they called me a Filipino. I was like, what?
John.
I'm close. Mexicano way.
John.
Brian Abelinosa.
I'm confusing why you don't want these shields I marked over here.
I'm sorry. I'm talking to chat.
What chat?
Thank you for the follow. Little Schmeat, really appreciate it. Brian. Well, first, your name doesn't have Brian in it. It has Brian. Doesn't have an A. That confused me. Threw me off. But Brian Abel Leonosa. Brian Abel Leonosa. There it is. Got it. Oh, there's somebody up here. Oh my god.
Up where?
Over here.
Don't let me down, down, down.
Ah. Yeah.
Our team is just...
Where'd he go? Stop
Where are our
building.
teammates at?
Ah, Abel.
Break us in!
Breach. Breach.
Already breached.
Breach. You got him.
I want this car!
Oh, you want Scar?
Yeah, please.
What gun do you have? Drop it. Drop what gun you have first. Wow, I'm giving up
Oh, you
that
got
for this.
CSGO?
No, I don't have CSGO.
Just
Mine should be playing without CSGO.
you say he doesn't have it, so why would he play it?
He said he should.
Yeah, but he doesn't have it, so he can't.
That's why he
What?
said he should get it.
Why can't we
No,
all
I
just
think
get
he said-
along? We're all friends. We're all in a squad. We're teammates. We got this. Love.
Only you, bro. They're strippers. Oh, we gotta go zone, John.
Sorry, guys. You guys are cool. Fire GG gets butthurt whenever we play with other people. Because he wants thread to himself.
Yes, I do.
You see?
She knows all about me. Right, babe?
I've been playing for a long time. Your Schmeat, you got
That's
it?
me.
You alright?
A little bit.
Okay. Lost some health.
You lost a lot of health, nuclear.
Huh.
I'm getting on.
He's getting on.
I got ganked up.
Oh, you're playing with
It's okay if you can't read it, Abel.
that fire.
Sorry, man. I tried my best.
I'm getting on.
The guy up there, by the way.
Up where? Underwear.
Literally right here.
Literally right where. You just marked it. Why would you shoot while we're not in zone?
Doesn't matter. We're like right next to it.
Bro,
Ooh.
can you guys just stop 90ing up to the sky?
Why are none of my bullets hitting today?
Are you guys really playing by yourself? Like, man.
What are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, you all the way over there. Just do it up. Like, what the
30
fuck?
shield.
This is why I'm gonna tell you something real quick.
Dude, I'm in a fight. Can you just chill for a second?
Alright, give me a second. Nigger, 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 nigger.
I know, get to work.
Oh, how'd that miss?
Oh,
I mean,
Bro,
wait,
crouch peek, bro. How is he even hitting me?
lined up the guy underneath.
PB in that. Thank you.
That's what I'm trying to do. Oh, they're scrambling over there. You're offended. My bad, dude.
Peeking, bro. Don, you wanna launch that away?
You have more assault rifle ammo?
Yeah, come here.
no, don't just be salty, boy.
I could try to get your kill.
You already got mine.
Oh, that guy got picked up.
You
Joke.
didn't. You already BM'd him. I think.
No, he didn't die. It's all good. Yeah. No, he got out. We can launch pad away.
You gotta go. Come down here. Come down here. I don't wanna land those guys. They're crouch peeking and hitting every single shot. Tell you you got laser.
Yeah, I did. It's alright, I got choked.
Oh, so
I've
now
got
we
it.
gotta go zone.
Choke a jug. Oh, they actually left. What?
Yeah.
Why'd they leave?
I don't know. They heard you. No, I'm just kidding. Just keep on jumping. You're still there. Ah!
Ooh,
Did you hit him out?
that'd been nice if I hit that. I'm gonna have to take this chug sooner or later.
Do you have any cozies or anything?
No, I have nothing.
I know I
You
I
said
don't even
chug.
have mats. All I have is a chug, yeah.
Bro, we could have revived them.
But they never died. Or did they die?
They died and they pick up each other. A card's right behind us. Right behind us. John.
I know, I
Please,
know.
Please.
What do you want me to
Can we
do?
Fight.
Not really. I gotta run the freaking zone. We're gonna die to zone. Uh oh.
This guy 200 me to the head, bro, and he's trash.
This is so
Yeah, he has a small penis, but you're gonna... He's getting reported, bro. Offensive name, that guy.
Are they still fighting in Storm?
Name. No, they were fighting me, but they just killed me.
I was surprised.
His name was... Small penis.
Was it?
Yeah, I reported him.
Ah.
He 200 me to the head, bro. He's so lucky. And our teammates, they said we were far away from them. They were far away from us. They ran from us.
No matter which way you look at it, we were separated.
I was carrying him too.
Nice.
Oh, whoops, my bad.
Look at that.
Little Smeet's in our lobby.
Is he?
Yeah, and so is Ellie Nuclear.
Oh.
I think. It says they are.
I'm probably waiting for you.
Wait for me.
Come on, get there. Get to the top of the mountain. Oh, yeah. Okay. Ah. Every once in a while, I miss those.
Every once in a while. It's a full squad, bro.
Hmm.
I was a little bit too far ahead.
Was it?
Yeah. Ooh, try to snipe one. Try to snipe him. That's pretty close. Oh, look at that guy on the roof. Left. That guy, right there. And somebody just got rezzed over there. Rebooted.
Yeah, I know it.
He's either-
Right when I turn
Yeah,
around.
this kid. If you die, this kid. Oh, you have no mats.
Nope. No
Someone did
match.
70 something fall damage. Why'd you break that wall?
Expose
He
them.
can see you. He can see you. You get killed.
Oh.
It hurts watching these snipes.
I know. I'm just sending them. I'm not even scoping in.
Someone has a bow too. Hey, first tag of the game.
Feels good, man. Feels good, man. Oh god.
I took 500 damage this game.
Oh. How did I not take fall damage?
I took all the bullets from you, John. You have a sniper for a reason.
Yeah, but why snipe them? They're just a cluster of people. Okay, gotta go, dude. Bye. All right, thanks, dude. Thanks for checking out the stream. Really appreciate it.
Who was it?
Tell your friends and family.
What?
Wow, I didn't know none of those hit.
You only shot one. You said that not hit.
Yeah, but I'm sending it in a cluster of people.
Yeah. It's called hit those.
One should hit.
Why'd he go back in zone? He's just camping zone. That guy has no health. He's after a shield.
Wait, different guy? Wow.
He had 86. That guy was one tap.
Bye, later, dude.
Who's leaving?
Let's invite Mark. Invite to party. Now I just need a fourth.
Dang it.
Kimberly Terravin's not on.
Who's Terravan?
Another good player.
Who's watching Blue's Clues?
That's Aiden screaming.
Oh. He doesn't want to play with us?
He's playing with other people.
Yeah, he's too good for us right now.
John, I found this one kid. He is freaking a god on the game.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
invite him.
It's not
He's
you,
not on
John.
right now. He's not on right now. I played with him. I played 2 games with him, John.
Uh-huh.
In both games, in one game I played with him, he got 19. The next game he got 20. Like nothing.
You play with Ninja?
I don't play with Ninja. Fuck that.
Oreo. O-R-E-O, Oreo.
I mean, all I want is a family-friendly stream where people don't say the N-word, the F-bomb, the S-bomb,
Fucking
the
shit,
D-bomb,
nigga.
the E-bomb.
Faggot.
Oreo.
He laughed.
Hey.
He laughed. He's like, oh man, that guy's got problems.
I was gonna
James
ask
Bob.
if he would play Oreo. Oh, yeah, what's up?
Hey, 1v1 me. I bet you I could. I bet you I could.
Oh my god.
Why, you turning 90s up to sky?
No, I raised my sensitivity way higher on my damn health.
Yeah, so we can do 90s even faster now, bro.
Yeah. That's what y'all do.
John came 90, bro.
Oh no,
Seriously.
my bad. My bad.
Yeah, respect, Mark. I'm talking about things that people can't do.
John, are you actually gonna take all the guns?
Oh my god.
Typical Mark,
There you go.
going down first.
My first
Hey.
game on, I didn't have a gun.
Did we say you were? Did
Are you freaking offensive?
Me?
No.
James Ball, am I always the first one down?
Yeah. This
No,
time.
I'm not.
This time you are. Ask John.
John says I'm always down the first one.
You are.
How? I'm never down. I'm always picking
You're
y'all
down
up.
right now.
Wow, the first time, my first game on.
The first
John,
time.
stop taking everything.
I bet.
Aiden, John has 2 shotguns and I have none.
I dropped the shotgun.
I'm gonna die. John, you want to slurp?
Yeah. Well, I want to go for Mark's card too.
Oh, that's too far away, I think. I don't think we can make it even if we run right now.
I got it. I'm getting it.
Y'all
I
got
can
30 seconds.
Feel it in my bones.
Sorry, I was just saying.
Nothing's real.
Get
Oh
mad at
yeah,
me.
they're over there. There's 2.
You have to purchase Mad Deem batteries.
Don't even shoot at him. Just pick it up. Pick it up. Yeah, I was shooting.
Pick it up and run from the cops.
That was easy.
I'll res you. I'll get you too. Okay, John. John, you get ski guard. I'll get him. Tell me when you collect it. John, pick it up. Die.
How am I getting those hit markers? It's all blocked. They knew where you were. They kept circling around the card.
My card was upstairs.
It was down below.
It
That was upstairs.
I was down below. It marks where your card is, Mark.
James Ball, where was it at?
It was
Down.
downstairs. I mean
Thank
upstairs.
you.
It was upstairs.
It was not upstairs. It was downstairs.
Let's go on the replay then.
We'll go on the replay.
Go on yours, and it'll show you. So it was on their body.
Yeah, they were walking around it. It was in the corner next to the palm tree. That's what it showed on my map.
Boy, your name's messed up.
It's like his hairline. It's like, how dare you bring him into this?
Ooh, upgrade.
I got a purple pump though. I'll be
The black guy has it.
purple.
Yeah.
I'm dead, guys.
They're here.
This guy?
Oh yeah, he has one.
Adam Hats.
I didn't even pick up the shotgun. Oh my
Can't
gosh.
even pick it up, you bot.
John, look who was on all for a second, bro. Didn't even get any kills.
I knocked the girl with the golf
Yeah,
course
well, I got 2
dress.
kills. Be quiet, bro. You want me, you bot.
You're the bot.
You died first.
You died after me.
Yeah, because there was a full squad. But I at least wiped 2 of them.
I swiped one of them.
No, you didn't. You didn't BM.
Nope. Because I was trying to kill the other ones. I was hitting
'cause-
them like in their head, and it was not registering. That was weird. Like it was a lag.
Oh, here we go again.
iHeart Radio.
Hey, James, but I didn't know just to get. You hear me, James Ball?
What'd you say?
I said I didn't know just to be good at 90s, like to get higher on each other, 1v1. It's just to raise up your sensitivity.
It's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. I don't have high sensitivity.
What's your sensitivity on?
Let me check. 0.192.
0.19. That's still like they say for a good like if you're pretty much at a 2 and above, you could do 90s faster than like you could do fast 90s. You know what I mean?
Can you do it though?
I just
The
barely
high
raised
sense.
mine. I just barely raised mine to 2.
He always has to be right,
Who?
Mark. Hey, Lomino, you have a mic?
I hear you breathing, bro.
Lomino? Lomi?
Vamos, me go. Instrument.
No, he's
Is
just
he
killed
playing an
it.
instrument?
I'm gonna mute him. Kind of noise.
Going down, boys. Going the hard way.
Yeah, this guy's getting muted. That hurts. His instrument's not that good. Or at least he's not good at it. He killed himself. Oh my god. This guy's attack off the bat. Why do you want to go tilted so much? Hello?
Yeah.
Why do you always want to go tilted?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just got outplayed.
40, 40, 40, 40.
Oh,
And to the head too.
make sure I can hit it. Can I hit that?
I did not get down first.
Didn't even get BM'd first.
Okay, stop. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna hit the longest shot.
Who got me?
Oh no!
Our teammate.
Hey, Royal Aim 123. What's going on, man? Been a while.
Insane flick shot with the bow.
What you up to, man?
Very, variants of the.
Let's drop tilted.
No.
Hey, Will Golly, you got a mic?
You can't hang that way.
Nothing.
I don't want to go tilted.
I know this one could have a bit of a.
Fine.
There we go. No, it's
Gotta be up to something.
Oh no! Dude! Come on! Here, Evan, end the game. And then we're gonna go ahead and go, like, just start
The 90s, though. I was a guy you got the scrim win with.
Will volley.
I was the guy you got the scrim win with.
He probably doesn't know what he's talking about, bro.
Are you talking? You talking about the
You mean again?
last night?
I'll go this corner.
So he was that guy that got the scrim with you.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. He's typing. Give me a second. I wish he would do the dots like your phone, like to know if they're typing. That'd be nice.
Sick.
Oh god, he got the gun. He got the gun. Shoot him. He didn't get the gun. Why are you chasing him, Will Volley? you won, bro. You backed up.
Oh, I fucking love him.
Oh, we went to Paradise Palms.
What? Was I there?
Or no, just build out. Don't build up. Because I'm gonna try to build out.
Is he gonna answer? Probably not.
Oh,
Why
he
did
answered
Nightbot-
in all caps, but it stopped him.
Why did I stop him?
Because he's spamming, technically, according to Nightbot. iHeartRadio.
I got a medkit volley.
Where'd that guy crawl to? I am Kamikaze. Dude, where'd that guy crawl to? I killed somebody.
Kamikaze. You know,
You don't see that
someone
guy?
in John's chat said that I'm Kamikaze.
Well, his people are coming.
What people are coming?
The guy that I knocked down. Just don't know where he went.
Ooh, take that head. Oh.
There's no way he got picked up.
I need health.
You see where he went, Kamikaze?
Kamikaze?
Well,
Who's Kamikaze?
Now you don't need it anymore.
Teammates, where are you at?
Right here.
After I die.
No!
Skin's really weak. Skin. Guy has skin.
One more, Will Volley. You got this. Yeah!
What?
No, I have to go. I am
Why are
sorry.
you,
Hey,
why are you
sorry, man,
cheering?
that I don't remember. I played with a
Exactly.
lot of people, dude. So sorry, but yeah, thanks for checking out the stream, man.
Okay,
John,
John, we
calm down.
lost. Why'd you say yay?
Because he knocked. I thought he knocked the other
He
guy.
acts like he plays with like ninja and all that.
That was just 2 damage.
What do you mean?
That was an actual shot, by the way. That hit you.
Because no one wants to watch somebody just sitting here doing nothing, Mark.
John was cheering. Wait, what? John was cheering when we died. What?
I thought he got him. It showed he got him.
But we
And
got
then he died. Because he knocked one, and then he hit the other guy, but I guess it was a hit marker.
7, 6, 5.
Hey.
Hey, look, another John.
Wow.
Where are we going?
Yeah.
John Thick?
Sure.
John.
We all picked.
Yo.
It's a team, we're one cohesive unit.
John, he said you're thick.
Oh yeah. Thanks.
No, not you. His name is actually John. Holding Threads John.
It's complimenting, apparently.
Yeah, holding threads, John, and I'm Mark.
Doesn't mean
And I'm James Bot.
And your name is?
Oh, it's John.
Hmm.
No.
Is it-
Who would have thought?
You're thick. Your name's
Hey,
Thick. What?
That's a cute laugh.
Thick, bad, and bougie.
That's a cute laugh. What, are you gonna cry first?
Stop, you're gonna make
Yeah,
me
my
giggle.
John, get your brother. John, are you gonna get your brother?
What do you mean?
Oh, what about my
He
brother?
said stop hearing me. Giggle.
Okay, this is gonna get confusing. Now my name's Michael. So we don't have two Johns in here.
No. That John Thick is named Thick, okay?
Okay, and then what's my name?
Yeah, the guy got lazy. What?
Don't leave, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave!
Don't leave, stay, I'm getting you.
Don't leave! Please don't leave!
God, there's two outside. One super laser.
Okay.
One super laser. The one that's attacking you right now is not laser. That one's laser.
Barnacle sauce.
One hit.
Oh! Barnacle sauce.
Barnacle sauce. Okay.
And just like that, we're gonna be back in the game.
Nice.
Psych, you thought I was gonna do that. John's so thick.
Thick, bad.
Not you, bro.
Well,
Am I thick?
Yes. Stand up.
Stand up.
Yeah, I gotta check. What?
That's funny. Hey, one of y'all had an extra shotgun.
There was tons in Blue House.
Tons in Blue House.
They're all greens though. Green pumps.
It's fine. A pump's a pump. Just hit your shots with
I
it.
know you're really fine.
yo, Diesel, I have a medkit too.
I'll use a
I haven't made it
campfire.
for somebody.
I'll use a campfire. I can hold it though.
Is it at the blue or is it the end of
Dun,
the blue?
dun, dun, bum, bum, but- dun, bum.
I haven't made it for somebody.
You want to hold it? I can hold it.
I mean, if you want, you can hold it.
I want to use this campfire way over here.
And tomorrow I'm gonna be so lonely at work. Womp womp.
Why?
Why?
Because you're going with Dad, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then Erica's not gonna be there.
Tell you. Why not?
Because she needs a day off.
Was she pregnant?
No, she has a test for school. And she asked me like 2 weeks ahead, like a good employee.
Are you the boss?
Yeah. Well,
No.
the manager.
The boss?
Somewhat.
You manage your workers?
Yes.
You found another slurp?
Yeah, I did.
I'll serve you. Did you like that, John?
That was nice. Oh yeah, who's John? I forgot. Am I Thread or am I John?
John!
Who?
John,
You.
there's two of us.
There's a big
Oh
pot
my
right
goodness.
Thick. Your name,
John.
John Thick is thick.
Here.
I,
John,
You guys want to?
John, I got a big pot.
I'm just confused already. Okay, I don't know who's who. Call me Michelle.
I'll respond
Michelle.
to Thick for now on.
Okay, was that half pot for Michelle?
No, that's for you.
Okay, who's you?
Holding.
That's me.
The only one answering.
I'm
You
confused
bought
again.
it.
Where is it?
It's
Why?
on top of the house.
Oh. Found it.
Michelle.
Sorry. Yes,
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Oh, there's a blue pump over there. I would like that, and I would use it.
Did you use it and abuse it?
That's right.
Like me? Hello? Are you gonna answer that?
My goodness. I have a cough that won't go away.
You're not even coughing.
Yeah, because I'm muting my mic.
Oh my god. John, there's another big pot on me.
Oh my goodness. Wait, Michael or John?
Holding.
Oh, that's me.
Michelle,
That me.
not you.
Not me. I thought that was... Oh god. I
Get in
thought
here.
that was me. Hold on, let me pick up that. Hold on. Hold on. Gotta pick this up. Okay. Ready. Ready!
Wait a minute.
You're not gonna get the big
I would
pot?
like to, but he's going the wrong way.
Hop on. I'm coming. John!
Back that thing up.
Look at it. Wait, look at this.
No, I'm Michelle.
Is that wall there for you?
Oh yeah, let's go. Wall hacks.
Okay, hop on. I'm driving. Where are we going?
There's
Over
a big
there.
pot up here in the sniper outpost.
Guys, I just got shot at.
John, I'm going.
Yeah, but he got shot at.
Oh, yo, they're here. They're in front of
There's already guys.
Watch out. Aw, you freaking bot.
Run. They stink bombs. They stink.
you. Yo, I did you one. She's one shot.
You lasered one? Which one?
Oh, wow, the one on top of her house.
That guy's one tap.
Somebody rotated to our side. They're on top of there.
He has that half bot now. This one has a heavy sniper. You wanna rush, Johnny? I mean thick, sorry.
Yeah, let's rush.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Going with you guys. Rushing as well. Nice. Oh god. Yeah. Wow, they didn't even have good loot. They challenged us.
Of course, John's there first. To my loot.
Wait, can I have that green assault rifle?
Yeah, no.
Oh wow.
If I had it, no. If I took it, no. I'm taking a medkit, it's okay. Yeah, that guy up there, he's lasered.
I know, I hit him for a lot too.
Yeah, same. I had him for white 2 times.
And he probably took the half pot.
Nah, he still had white. I was there.
Oh, watch out, there's people on me.
I'm taking a medkit. 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, 0
Watch
seconds, no seconds. That's weird, Aiden. Mark, you got this. Die.
Okay,
Andrew?
the guy's on me.
He has no more shield. He's thirsty.
Oh
Where's he
my
at?
god, he finished me.
Pick me up, pick me up. No, 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 I'm at 3. Pick me up. Wow.
What? I want to go help.
I was at 3.
I didn't know that.
Well, go to the rebuild van. Oh, there's still one more.
Down.
Ah. We still have a chance.
No, what's that, bro?
Well, now you have to get out of there.
Nice.
So scared. So scared. I'm so scared.
Oh, pick us a gun for all of us. Like, just pick up all shotguns.
What? Just tons of
What?
redeploy.
Well, we're all gonna need guns.
Yeah, you can come back up here.
Well, hurry up and go do to the respawn.
Look, there's redeploy, there's med kits, he has a fireplace. We're set. And then isn't there an ATV? Oh yeah, there's an ATV right there.
I got a cozy too.
So there you go, we're set. We can get out of here.
John, you get on the cozy, or holding thread, get on the cozy with me. I mean the quad with me if you wanna.
Yeah, but I need to get
Get out of
guns.
Okay, I'll take some minis and you guys get out of here, okay? They were bots.
Unless you're gonna give me a gun.
They
I don't think you're gonna give me a gun. I know you.
I left the whole loot up there. A lot of loot. Who wants to just dip out of here?
I will.
I gotta dip.
I will.
I
I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Let's
get
go
on
over
with you.
here, John.
Because my health is really weak, so I just gotta
I'll
dip.
find a gun with you. I'll go find a gun.
Can you build 1 ramp? 1 ramp. What the heck?
There you go.
Okay.
Get those redeploys.
And I got a cozy for me over here too.
Get that redeploy, and then I'm gonna go to the top and we can build up. Oh, I have plenty of mats. Oh yeah, we can get out of here. Okay, I'm gonna start building up, and there you go. Oh, we gotta get out of here.
Can you go up
Build up. Gotta get out of here.
Just hop off, just hop off. Come over
You
here.
got an extra gun like a SMG or anything?
You can have my AR.
Yeah, just anything. You got some ammo for it? Thank you.
I split. I have a sniper too. Where are they at? Are you really rushing like a 2-squad fight, Mark?
No, I'm not rushing. I'm trying to get to the outside.
Trying to get a good view.
The bananas laser.
So
Alright.
you did just take
We
off.
made it, John. We did it.
Hey, John, you gotta make it here fast. I mean, Mark. I mean,
We're both here. But we're super
Yeah.
weak.
John's.
I have one shotgun bullet.
If I address to you guys, I say John's. Both of you guys, okay? You say John's.
Got it.
Like, John's, come here.
Nailed it.
John's.
Oh, goddamn turret.
33 shield. I have no ammo.
They're all lit down there, James, but
I lasered too.
He's lasered. What are you talking about, Mark?
no.
He can't shields.
No, I didn't see that guy.
John. Res. John, I'm up here. I'm right here.
No, I dropped my shotgun.
He's not
No.
here, Rezzy. He's not right here.
No, I dropped my shotgun, dude. No.
John, thick.
Pick him up, and then I have a roof to go.
Pick me up.
Cool. They don't know where we're at.
Build him off us, John.
Don't worry, they don't know where we're at.
Bot.
John.
And then
whatever
we'll,
your name is.
I have a roof to go. Get out of here.
We're one tap. We're all one tap.
Yeah, we
Wow,
are.
y'all love my reboot card.
They just dipped.
It's for the better of the
Go here,
squad. Oh! It's for better of the squad. You can do this. Survive. Live.
Get more than 5 kills because I'm carrying.
You're carrying?
Yep, 5 kills, baby. Just knocked one.
Come on, YouTube. Leave me alone.
Nice. Let me get that loot. Let me get that loot ASAP.
Those are the most 2 easiest kills ever.
So get that loot, bro.
He's halfway there.
2 HP. I'm 2 HP. Can you bring me any meds if there is? Or I'll just come.
Turtle up, wars. Oh!
Oh my god.
Shot him in the back.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is the end. Oh!
What? Turbo Bull doesn't work, bro.
That's a lot lethal.
Saying that.
GG's, John.
Turbo
Thanks
Bull
for
does
playing
not
with us.
work.
GG.
GG's, John. Get carried, James Bot.
Get carried. What? I had one less kill than you. Okay.
Hey, you got carried, John.
I was being a team player. I need to stop being a team player, and I need to do my
Match.
job.
This is your last match, okay?
Oh yeah, time for you to get off.
Yeah.
get
this
off.
match. Those guys are bodied. Why'd they build up that high with no redeploy?
Do. Marino.
That guy was cool.
Yeah,
But he
nice
didn't
guy.
talk at all.
Nice guy.
But he had never talked.
But he was confused. I think we played with this guy before. I'm everybody fantasy. I'm Blueface, baby.
Hello?
Hello. Hello.
OMG Steve-O Beast. Mr. Beast? We're playing with Mr. Beast, guys.
He's
Bro, why
gonna
do you have
donate.
subtitles? Why do you have titles when you talk?
Oh, yeah. On your stream, John, when you talk, it has subtitles.
Oh really? Is it good?
No.
No. It doesn't say what you're saying.
No.
At all.
It's saying Chinese, right?
No,
That's
it's saying,
funny.
Like, it's saying American words, but
Oh, but it's not saying what I'm saying.
No.
no.
Oh, I could turn it off.
Please.
What is it?
Subtitles.
Why is there subtitles?
Because I turned them on.
If people want subtitles, they can turn it on themselves.
Correct. No, you have to turn them on. And
Yeah.
then they can turn them on.
No.
You're not supposed to be able to see them unless you turn it on.
I know. The people watching you can turn it on if they want to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why would you just turn it on automatically? Takes up the
Well,
screen.
it's supposed to do the subtitles for me. And then someone's coming.
Where? I'll tell my mom. Tell my mom. I'm telling my mom. John.
Huh?
Hi. Where are you at?
I need
Oh,
Are you
that
gonna fight,
shotgun.
John? Who's gonna fight? Are you trying to fights?
Save
Who has a
you.
heavy sniper?
Can I have the pass?
Oh, there's two of them. I'm out.
He's gonna leave. Watch.
Clear yourself out.
Nice, Mark. Did you kill all of them?
Most of them.
So there's still more?
Yeah.
I built.
Wow, never had Zach Duda talk like that. Sounds like he's having so much fun.
He's fine.
Aiden, did you stop yelling?
Yay! Feels bad, man.
What, are you gonna fight?
Yeah, but I killed two of them. The QB1?
So, do you need help?
No, because I killed both of them.
You said you killed two of them. How many what were there?
And it was
Or
a
are there?
2v1. What?
Okay.
I don't understand what's the problem.
Do you have any meds or anything?
I got 6 minis.
Yeah, can I have two of them? Can I have two of them? You have 6 minis? Really?
Yeah, I did.
Stat,
and I have
bro.
4.
Stop flying.
Stop yelling. Aiden, you're not even leaving.
Wow, now coconuts give you 5.
They already gave you 5.
They gave you 3, didn't they?
No.
No, they gave you 5.
Are you okay, John?
Every time I ate them, they gave me 3. My game's glitching.
Or are you just using stuff that gives you like 50? Because you eat a lot and you know stuff. But so it'd be like, oh, this is nothing. It's probably 3.
I have a tag. Yeah, I'm gonna play this shotgun.
Coconut? I hear him. I don't see him. Where's the other coconut?
Starts to eat.
Where's the other coconut?
I know.
I want coconut.
Coconut John.
Now it drops 2 coconut.
Johnny.
Going because I want it. And I need it. Oh, we're far from circle. We gotta go.
I got 2 launch pads. I'm good. And a hoverboard over here. And there's a cozy over here on me.
2 hoverboards?
I see 1. There's a quad.
You know what to do with that thing.
Who, me?
Yeah.
What, fly it?
Yeah.
You might want to hurry up because I don't feel like waiting that long. Yes, I'm telling you to hurry it up.
It's alright, I got balloons. You can go by yourself.
I can?
Yeah.
Be sure.
Yep.
Nah, I'm good. I'm a farm. You get the hoverboard, I'll get the quad.
No, I got balloons.
Yeah. Okay.
James Bot Thompson, it's time to get off.
No. I can
Oh.
have dessert.
Missouri.
How do you know my last name?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look you
OMG
up.
Beast. OMG Beast. Over here. Get up here. He's a bot. If you look on my team, he's running into a mountain, bro. I'm dipping, bro. John, I'm coming to you, okay? You wanna hop in my quad? Hop
Nope.
in my big green tractor?
Nope.
Nope. Or yope.
Nope.
John, I'm right here. Why don't you shake the hoverboard? John, someone's gonna shoot you down. John, just fall down. Jump in my quad. I'm right under you.
Falling, 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 falling.
I'm here. Right here. Okay.
Get some materials. Farm up,
Sky
baby.
high, guys.
Takes your shield away, doesn't it? When you fall.
Landed. No, I landed it, so it didn't. There's some loot over here. Why don't people loot their kills? Oh, because they're still here.
I'm all the way that way.
I'm going into cornfields.
Play it safe.
So don't headshot him right now.
Nope, play it
Yeah.
safe.
If I get a lucky hit, if I get a
Aw,
sniper,
man.
Where are they?
somewhere over here. Right there, I think.
Oh yeah, they're running away.
They're scared of me?
I hear a go-kart, right?
Ooh. Who's that at? Oh, is that them? Who sniped? Mark, why'd you snipe? You missed.
Yep, that's typical Mark.
John, I want to see you hit some shot.
Just hit one. Just kidding, didn't hit one.
My dreams. I never hit you.
Oh shit, one just got hit. Did one get hit hard? Another
Not
one
that hard.
hit, knocked one.
One's peeking hard at me.
Eat him.
No. Oh,
What?
take that. Take that. Take
try.
that.
No, you.
Probably.
Take that. We got a long way. Oh, long way to go. Long way to
Launch pad right here.
go.
Launch pad right here.
Man, they were actually bots.
I thought they were good.
They look good, right?
Yeah, somebody slotted. A lot of good loot.
We look good, and we're bots.
That's kind of true. I don't want to admit it though.
Going over
We
here.
weren't that far, John. Why'd you
Going
say
over
whoa,
here for
we're so
meds.
far? What? Oh, there was a med kit back there. Where we just fought, there was a med kit. But I got you minis. I have
Got it.
6. My head hurts.
Oh yeah.
Top of my head.
There's a gold.
Gold what?
James, you want a purple sniper?
What kind? Like what purple?
Heavy.
Sure.
It's on me. Come
Okay.
get it.
Who wants that purple suppressed?
Drop Alright, I prefer the blue assault rifle.
Oh, for what?
The suppressed.
No, I just pressed sniper.
Oh no.
I'll take it.
Right over there.
And those minis.
Over here on me. Those are right here. I know, Riley. Look at our kills. 6. When did you get 6, Mark?
I had 6. I killed
What?
3 in the beginning.
The bow for what?
And then I sniped 1.
What was it?
Shotgun both of them.
Where was it? Ah. Oh, never mind. Do.
Video zone real quick.
Little bit. Anybody have heavy ammo?
No. And we have
No.
shotgun ammo.
No.
No.
I have 2 things that need shotgun ammo.
Same.
What, you have a bow and a shotgun?
Uh-huh.
Same. We shoot up to that mountain. Get some instant high ground. Using a zip line.
Instant.
Instant. Wait, I think not Dusty. What the hell was that? I think Loot Lake's gonna be the normal. I don't think it's gonna be looty, not loot.
Oh, there's people down there. 300.
They're
It's a
injured.
white dog.
How many wins I got today? I'm trying to make my first one. But I haven't been playing serious.
What happened?
Get sniped.
No shield in that kid. His ball. He's hurt. I got
No,
you.
no,
I got you. I got you. Listen,
Oh my goodness.
just get him.
Just shooting from underneath.
I know.
Yeah, but I'm trying to edit it out. You don't let me edit it out.
Where is he?
I don't know.
How'd I miss?
Where that?
In the street somewhere. Zach? Just.
Oh, they're behind. They're over there.
I know where my bullets are going, bro. Nice shot, Mark.
Oof.
I really don't want to peek these kids. They have AR. Wait, who placed that trap down there?
I don't know.
Where are the kids at?
Over there in this place.
Ooh.
Where they at? I don't know where
Hey,
they're
Scuba Steve, do you have ammo? Is it? Sniper? Scuba Steve? No, you're gonna get sniped, Scuba Steve! Oh, Scuba. I like how you got your camera set up. Thanks, man. Worked really hard on this setup. Oh, they have
Did you actually?
ballers. Yeah, I
I never
did.
got it. We should go.
Nobody has ammo for a sniper, really?
No. We can use a.
It was bad, man.
Zone.
I'll get some out for here. Let it. I just picked them up.
Who has any
Thank
shotgun?
goodness. Now I can
Good, Mark.
snipe.
What, do you actually have 0 ammo?
Yeah, I had 0.
Told me that. How do you do like 2 or 3?
Oh, someone just picked up
Someone's
the
getting
money.
res. Someone's getting res. Over in Happy, someone just got rebooted. Where's the reboot van at? It's right here.
Oh, he's white. He's white.
Yeah, it's like that.
He ran into the ball.
Nice, whoever knocked him. Bro, this storm is hurting. I have to launch pad. I'm launch padding. That storm hurts a lot. I got a cozy.
Steve's falling.
Aw, dang.
Guy over there. Do you want to
Come
get
right
some
here, somebody.
high ground?
Guys, come right here. Come right here.
Oh,
You built
I
for
got
me,
it. I
guys.
got it. Drop it.
Get in the middle. Get in the middle. Get in the middle. I got it. Get in the middle.
Oh, they're out. Oh, he's getting third party.
There goes our.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, somewhere. Somewhere. Oh shit! Somewhere. Oh.
Shouldn't have went out. I knocked one of them. You saw that blank hit marker, Mark?
I'm watching Tim's vlog.
You want some gameplay? Sorry. Didn't mean to take your viewers like that, John.
They're all underneath us. Ah, I think I was gonna get sniped.
But then I hit.
You missed completely.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh. Dang.
Oh.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Get carried. 7 kills again.
722, not too bad.
It looks stretched when I do this.
Tough, man. It's tough when you get a blank hit marker. Hit that guy in the face with a blank hit marker. That hurts.
There's some duos.
It really demoralized me. I was like, oh. That's a knock, baby. Come on, Fortnite. You got this.
What do you have on the side of your thing? That little blue thing.
What little blue thing?
On the side of your
Oh man. What blue thing?
on your stream. It says like holding third TTV. It says like all squads and all that. Solo.
Oh, it has my wins?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Is it too tiny to see?
Yeah, it's really hard.
I think if you click on it, it opens up. Like it'll tell you my stats. And then how many wins I had today and all that stuff. You wanna build a snowman? You wanna
it's hard to see because you can switch it. How did you put that? That's pretty cool.
It's a widget.
On Twitch?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Thank you. Which I think I have 60 now, if I'm right. The Saturday was a good day. Or was it Sunday?
James Bond just keeps on getting carried by
He has to get used to the resolution. That's what happens when you go to stretch to regular. Everything looks tiny.
I'm not gonna bring stretch ever back again.
Nope. Let me down like this. God dang.
Got them both.
Okay, falling down. Oh, never mind. Hunting rifle let me down.
There's a med kit. There's a med kit and a big pot. I have a mini for you.
I'll take the mini first.
Not the medkit. Oh shit, no, not that. Oh, you picked up my dual pistol?
Yeah, because I don't have any close range.
Okay,
Where's the med kit?
There's no medkit, I lied.
Yeah, I said hello. You didn't say hello to me. Where's the med kit?
There's no medkit, I said I lied.
Oh.
But there's bandage right there. What? Package? From what? Oh, yeah, that is mine. Oh, does it? There's a shotgun right now.
Where?
Right where the palm tree is.
What? They figured out it's a boy? They figured out it's a boy or what?
What?
I thought they weren't going to figure out the gender. Oh, really? It's a boy? Oh, really? Why Michael in the middle? Ooh. Oh. Aiden Anthony? Oh, yeah. He stole your name. So no gender reveal, I guess, for Yvonne and Matt.
Pretty sure they're still gonna have one.
They're over there.
Yeah, well, I don't have a long range gun.
Just real quick, get the heck out of there.
Oh, we have one for right in front of us.
Yeah, I know.
38 shield.
Man, he can build. He's really weak. Oh, okay.
I didn't shoot. I thought you were gonna get him.
No.
You gotta move.
Did you get the other guy?
Yeah, I got him.
Oh, yeah.
There's minis right there. There's 3 right there. There's no risk, so that's great. So we're gonna head out. You got any launch pad, anything?
Nope.
Oh, we use the cannonball.
You have shotgun ammo. I have 2.
Yeah, just come towards me. Got some.
Oh, yeah.
I was practicing with that little kid last night. Oh, he's not little. There's gonna be someone
Nothing.
here.
I do not. $40 shield.
He jumped all the way down.
Let him be. He'll probably die by storm anyways. Alright, let's shoot ourselves with the cannons before. Oh.
Okay, well there's 2 of them. I hit one pretty bad. We're on the cannons though. Can you focus it?
Yeah, you have it. Straight that way. What? Why'd the cannon turn that way?
I want to drop some ammo right here. I split it on my body. I should pick it just in case.
Off I go. Ba-ba-bum, bum, ba-ba-bum, bum, ba-ba-bum, bum, ba-ba-bum, ba-bum, bum, ba-ba-bum. The what? I like it. It joys good. Not a Bentley, but I'll take it. Anything for free, I take.
I got a campfire and band-aid.
Okay, I have bandages anyway, so I'll heal up a little bit and then go. Okay, we could start the fireplace. God, look at that circle again.
I know. Come towards me as soon as possible. Are you almost here? You need ammo, right? There you go. Split it. Shotgun. Did you grab it?
Yep. Once we get 100%, gotta go, go, go. Gotta go, go, go. Gotta go, go, go.
I'm already going.
All right, I'm gone.
Oh, do you have a lot of mats?
Yeah.
How much?
300.
Can you drop me some?
146. Just farm up a little bit here. And when we get closer.
Just keep on going.
It's such a far storm. I don't think people are gonna.
Just keep on walking. You know. Oh, there's more cannons.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's people there though.
Don't shoot yourself until I tell you to go, so I can hold the cannon.
Come on, stop. Man, whatever he has, freaking lasered me.
At least he's fighting somebody else. Stick it in, stick it in, stick it in.
You're fighting someone else. What is your FPS on, John? Go on your settings.
170, 180. Why?
Put it to 240.
No, it's unlimited.
Oh, you have it unlimited?
Yeah.
He taught me a lot.
I'm gonna put in my streams word of the day on top of my head so people can put it in chat. When they put it in chat, I'll go. Dude, Ninja is toxic.
Why?
Absolutely. He gets down and he is just like, pick me up, get me, pick me up. And the other guys can be dying and they are forced to pick him up. It is not even a, like, they better pick him up. It's that type of deal.
I forgot one guy, he plays as
Jordan Fisher, I think. He's a black guy.
No.
And he was forced to pick him up. Period.
Well, yeah, the little streamers like that, well, they're not even little streamers. They're still big. They still get like 5,000 to 1,000 people. But
no,
like,
he got 400 people.
But like to Ninja, they're small people, so they need him.
Right. And that's why he was like, pick me up, get me, pick me up. And then he would be like, anybody have meds? And they would have to give up their meds for Ninja so he could get out.
And he always has to have the highest kill shot.
Yep. I was just like, wow, I can't believe people like watching him.
And I don't like watching him. No, I watch Sifu. If I'm gonna watch someone, I want to watch Sifu. You know what's up, dude?
Like, the fame definitely got to his head, even though it's just a video game, but God, wait. That's not how you treat the other streamers, you know? You never know, maybe one of them's gonna be the big guys, and what if they treat you like that?
Well, that's why Tifu doesn't play with a ninja. Have you noticed that?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you got a guy that falls because he sucks at the game, and all you hear is, pick me up, you know, it's like...
Well, that's why Symphony doesn't play with ninja too. Because Tim the Sandman was like, you wanna play with young
Not even Tim plays with him often.
He told Symphony, you wanna play with ninja? He said, nah, I'll play with my own people.
Not even worth it to play with Ninja. He's never gonna let you have the spotlight.
Because like Symphony and them, they just wanna have fun.
Right. Like me.
Like of course there's like, when it comes to like tournaments, they're trying. Oh, I got 2 minis for you. I dropped them in this building.
Yeah, people that fought over there.
2 minis right there.
And then Fear itself plays with them, and man, same thing. Like, if he has 2 minis and they both need help, Ninja's getting those minis, period. It's not even a thought. Like, he's getting them. And he'll tell me,
Fear,
you got
Fear
minis? Yeah.
himself,
Boom. Gives them.
Fear himself doesn't have emotions, right?
No.
You know where they
Someone's trying to reboot. Trying to scare him.
Let the player come. Oh my god, you Go, 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 go.
Somebody got picked up or not?
Oh my god.
Atta boy.
You got him?
Yeah.
This friend was doing damage with me to the pistol. Wow. You got any shotgun ammo?
Yeah, 36.
There's a rift to go right there. I don't know if you want to hold it.
Where's right there?
Behind you. That's insane. Shall I go the? I don't know. But have you noticed when he plays with like Fluky and all that, he doesn't have to pick them up or reset? Or if he dies, he says reset, right?
Oh, I don't know. He didn't die when.
Oh, because of the respawn cards, right?
Probably why they put the respawn cards in for Ninja.
He's all like, before the respawn cards, he's like, just reset. When it was just a guy by himself. And then when Ninja used to play, oh, Monster. Have you ever seen Ninja play with him?
No.
He is bad to that. I feel sorry for him. Yeah, but you know, he's not bad with reverse 2K. Did you have it?
Mm-hmm.
He's not that bad with reverse 2K. Because reverse 2K does. I think they were in arena and he got down early in the game, right? There's a llama in front of me. And then he was all like, reverse. No, Ninja was all like, let's reset. And then reverse 2K is like, nah, I want to get my buster at least. And then he's like, I don't want to see gameplay. I want to play. And like, don't get down.
But what consequence do you have telling Ninja off? People are gonna be like, oh, that kid told Ninja off, you know?
Oh, there's a slurp right here, John. Oh, I can drop a mini for you. I split. Don't want them. Oh, I'm gonna drop. There you go. It dropped my gun. Yeah.
I mean, and then everyone's gonna know you as that guy that told off Ninja. So what's wrong with telling him like, no, man, let's play a game, let's play through or whatever, you know? Who cares if he doesn't play with you? It's not like you're gonna die. You have your fan base. You have 200-300 people.
But a lot of the little streamers, they all get their views off of Ninja.
Hmm. Let's see if that's unlooted. Oh yeah, it's unlooted. Ooh, half pot right there for you. Ooh, I got sniped at. Careful.
From where?
I'm tilted.
Drinking it. Oh, did you pick up the minis?
Yeah, I can drop.
Just drop one of them to you.
Oh, keep going in a circle.
Oh,
yeah.
shit, where are they shooting from?
I don't know. It sounded like from behind and to the left. But they can't hit their shots. Get on top of the mountain. You know it's gonna be up there. Oh, there's people up here in the camp. Let's go around. Just get to the high mountain and make life easy for ourselves.
Oh, they launched out.
Let's go up there. You know it's gonna end up there.
Oh, there's people behind us. Oh, they're all moving down. Did you get him?
No, he's still. Oh. They're both on me. Watch out, his buddy's coming down. Man, he lucky after reload. Going on the outside?
Got him.
You got him?
No. Oh, I died, dude.
He's up top. He has no shields. Oh. Attaboy. Wow, we're still getting sniped at from behind. Oh no, settle me down.
It's not. Oh,
Oh wow, come on, Mark.
because you're on it.
No matter if I'm on it, you can edit me down.
No, it wasn't. It was not letting me.
Doo 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 boo doo.
Here, I got a med kit.
We can rift and go to the top of the mountain.
Did you grab their loot?
No, I didn't get any loot because I was trying to kill the guy. Did you get the bottom loot?
No.
Okay. I'll go for that loot then. Shotgun. They didn't really have much. Have to get used to that. Alright. Tons of minis.
Oh, can you drop me some? I said minis.
Why did it drop that?
Where's the minis?
Hold on. They're on me. Oh,
Oh,
get
I
in.
think there's a...
Get in on the other side of the mountain.
Oh, let's hit this campfire.
And there's a drop right here. Another rift to go and a campfire.
Cool. Wait for me.
Kind of hang out here.
Oh yeah, let's go to the circle.
Ooh, people fighting to our left. Oh yeah, they're up there.
Guy's drinking a chug. I just did that. He's drinking a chug.
Let's go. Keep pre-firing them. Let's go.
Will it help too?
He drank
Hit
it.
him for... No, he didn't. I hit him for...
I hit him for 33 twice.
Okay. Well,
Oh, he's still getting shot at.
Oh, he launched. Let me put a launch pad down. Right here. Nice. Stay in it.
He didn't land that far. Didn't he just land over here?
I don't know. I don't know where he went.
We can rift to go and get on top of the mountain.
Alright, if you can you come towards me?
Let's just get on top of the mountain.
I thought there were gonna be people on top of there.
Land over here. You have assault rifle ammo?
Yeah, if you come towards me.
Sniping from behind.
There, I split it. It's on the floor. I dropped it on the floor. Did you get it?
Yep. Oh yeah. Let's go over there. I think they're fighting each other. Pick them off. Oh, someone's coming up with a ball. Oh yeah. They're all fighting down below. One's coming up with a ball.
Ooh,
Bye.
knock him off.
Yay, goodbye. How'd he kill himself? They have a heavy sniper, so just be careful. Oh man, he's peeking. He's looking hard.
Give that nigga a haircut.
Come on, send it again.
What? I got stuck on the rock.
Hopefully don't.
They're not gonna make it up. They're not gonna make it up. He got it. They ain't gonna make it up.
Nope.
The black guy's coming already, so that building.
He's lit. He has no more shield. His other buddy's coming up too.
Okay, okay, he's coming after me. He's coming after me.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Are you okay?
Kinda need help.
Knocked him.
Nice. Woo, man, he wouldn't leave me alone, dude. Oh, thank God you came back. I was scared. I was like, oh man, I gotta play this safe. Oh, his friend's still alive. Line him up, not let him get in high ground.
Got him.
Nice, atta boy. 157 on one of them.
Okay. You got any meds?
No, all I have are minis. The white guy's weak. You gotta go down. Take care of that guy. No longer in the fight. .23 shield on him. I was wondering where this other guy was. Oh wow, he rifted.
He rifted, but he's lasered.
Come on, Bloom.
Got him.
Last two, those guys are not on a team.
Got him.
Nice. Last guy, we got this. 33 shield on him.
Oh my god. You got him, John.
No. No, dude. Oh my god. So close. 50 freaking. Oh man. All right, I'm getting. I'm getting off. I feel tired.